session, Veritas. How are you?
Veritas. I'm doing fantastic. Been doing great. I feel like the sun on a cloudless day.
Well, it's definitely sunny everywhere.
Yeah.
All over the globe.
Yeah.
If there is a globe.
If there is one. We'll see. I don't know. But if it is or it isn't, how does that change our lives?
It doesn't.
Yeah, look at that. We still have to
We
confront
don't
what's
really
within.
even have to argue over that. We don't have to argue over that point at all.
No, I love it. So welcome everyone. Invocation Veritas. Honor, respect, and gratitude to you all. The Of the Sun live stream, and today we are covering one of the last tenets. And we have been each week going over some of the 7 tenets that will assist with helping you understand exactly who we are, what you're in resonance with, and for those who are on the path of energy hygiene and really amplifying your light and moving into more sovereignty and freedom, moving into oneness as an embodiment, moving into truth. These tenets are ways that you can self-govern, where you don't need someone or a guru or this or that or outer authority in a white lab coat to tell you how to be and conduct yourself. You got your reference point. And so today, our topic and our tenet is protect the field. And the subtitle is avoid gossip, drama, and distortion. Clear interference actively and consistently. And so, many people end up with entanglements where you start your day off, you feeling high and mighty, and then next thing you know, people end up dropping the ball and become susceptible and vulnerable to an attack. It might be manipulation, it might be a psychic attack, it could be fear itself arising within themselves, internally. And this idea of how doing or adhering to the tenet by way of energy hygiene is something that will really help aid and support with stabilizing yourself. So, you got any initial thoughts before we jump into our announcements regarding this?
It's so interesting, just the idea that it's necessary to protect, I think, is a very important consideration, because we weren't ever really taught it's necessary to clear your path, it's necessary to protect yourself with your own integrity, it's necessary to be about the truth of who you are, otherwise things can come in that are things that you don't want. So this is a great topic.
It sure is, and I'm so looking forward to diving into it, because this is my favorite tenet.
Yes.
My favorite tenet. And as a matter of fact, this tenet supports the class we're holding today. Today I'll be teaching energetic protection and defense, which energetic protection and defense is a 3-day class that is designed to equip you with fortifying your field, exactly what we're talking about, protect the field, but by protecting yourself from yourself, because it is we who give consent to the outside world, but that darkness that's in you that projects outside. And so we'll be going over a variety of different understandings, because protection and defense, it's more than just a technique. It's how we perceive reality in our relationship with it that makes us vulnerable and susceptible to attack. So if you take this class, we're going to help you shift your perspective and your identity of who you are, so that you can move into becoming more effective in sustaining, protecting your field against psychic, parasitic manipulation, coercion, fear, people who may be attempting to try to take and usurp your energy, aspects of yourself that may be unconsciously giving energy and life force away, and how to call that back. So it's an amazing class, and it runs for 3 days, held on Thursday, 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Eastern. So it's this Thursday, next Thursday, following Thursday. We're going in, we're passing out swords. That's right, you get a sword, you get a sword. We're having a good time, but we're also going to teach you how to become the sword. Whereas, again, this is not externalized, this is internalized. Do you have any thoughts on this, Lalta?
I have so much to say about this. I know you're in the middle of announcements, but there is so much to be said for recognizing that you're the one in charge. People often think someone else is vampiring me, or someone else is taking something from me, without the understanding that you have the capacity through your own efforts to protect yourself and to keep what is yours under all conditions, that you are equipped. It's part of the technology. But if you don't recognize that could happen, then you might take food from the wrong person, spend time with the wrong lover, get in the wrong car, participate in someone's behavior with them, and then it transfers over and you find yourself handicapped by what happens.
Yeah.
And in pieces, but it's more the idea that the responsibility is yours to implement so that you will have the experience at the level you'd like to have it. The way that most of humanity thinks of it is that they are without power and victimless. And this is so unfortunate because that eventually leads to levels of thinking you have no effect in the reality you live in,
Yeah.
which then makes you not want to live in that reality.
That's right.
So I mean, it goes quite quickly to the lower levels of the basement,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and it doesn't have to. Just knowing this and knowing that you can say things and do things and have a frame of mind that protects you when you can attune yourself, that when you hear a thought in your mind, you can recognize that's not me and I don't allow it, and no, I'm not doing that. That is a form of protection. And there are many layers and levels.
That's right. Get yourself out of here. Negative thought. We're not doing that around here.
Right.
I do not consent. Yeah, this is funny. It's making me think about. You said something earlier about escapism. You didn't use that word, but it's essentially that. And we dropped a clip today. If you're not, follow us on Instagram, and you can also find it on the YouTube Shorts. We were speaking of how people are trying to escape. They want the aliens to beam them up, and it was hilarious. I'm over here editing the clips, cracking up, pausing it, running it back, and you're like, who would want to save you? Like, have you made yourself disabled? Like, the way you articulated it, though, you're like, look at your room, look at your car, look at the way you are operating. But it was funny, but you elaborated in terms of making yourself valuable to expand beyond where you are on Earth to the greater cosmos and take yourself elsewhere, which, we have made commentary about people trying to leave Earth and go to Mars and dirty up the rest of the cosmos with their behavior, and no, that's not going to happen. And so, it's just funny the way how we operate. But again, check that clip out if you haven't. It's a short on YouTube. It came out today, and then we got more that are along the lines. It was such a funny podcast. Yeah. But also, the link's in the description for anybody who wants to join Energetic Protection Defense today. This is a prerequisite for quantum light property clearing, so get in when you fit in. We're gonna have a great time. And then also, we're in the middle of doing the Luminous Life Method. You're teaching it. This is an extension of Soul Translation. And by the way, for those who may not know, Luminous Life Method is a process that Lalita is taking students through to cultivate a methodical lifestyle that's centered around embodying light, understanding that you are a luminous being, and making sure that all the actions, the input and output through your field equates as light. So you can sustain your light quotient, continue to expand, do what you came here to do. But again, what that looks like daily, moment to moment. And so we're having a great time. We're only in day one. We just did it on Tuesday. You took us actually deeper into the tenets and the necessity to adhere to these to sustain luminosity. Any thoughts on this?
It actually applies to our discussion today that the tenets lend themselves to sovereignty. Sovereignty makes you unharvestable. So the farm that we are on, we become tasty treats. If you're unprotected, you become like yummy and delicious.
Yeah.
For something to harvest you, something to take from you that which is your essence, because that exists. If you don't think that exists, or if you are in the understanding that you don't need to do anything, that you're already covered, you don't have any...
I already know.
You don't have anything that's necessary to do. You've probably already been harvested. Everything feeds, and there are aspects of reality that exist on what you don't know, and what you don't know about how fabulous and how powerful you are. But there are things that recognize it and would like to have some of that power, and sometimes they're in your friends or your family or in your work people, or you walk into a store and you say somebody says something to you, and if you don't respond right, then they feel some kind of way about it, and then that gets transferred to you, and now you feel a little discordant, a little out of sorts. You stand in line for a long time and you feel like, why is that happening to me? Or you're driving and you're stuck in traffic and you can't get out, and all of these things are actually designed in the blueprint to make us harvestable, but we have the choice to not allow ourselves to be farmed or eaten.
That's right.
So this is the protection. Sovereignty is the goal, because the frequency of sovereignty is distasteful to those who want to eat pain and suffering.
Yeah.
What they want is pain and suffering. And if you're sovereign, you have very little pain and suffering to spare. You know, I don't have any pain. I'm looking in my pockets. I don't have no pain. I don't have a dime of suffering to give you. But I got some joy and some happiness. I'm protected and I'm glowing. How about that?
Everything eats. Everything eats. I'm like, put it on a fast.
Yeah, so
all I got is joy for you.
it speaks directly to the idea of protection and the tenet. And what we're doing in Luminous Light Method is giving you the many things that you may have ignored. Grounding, standing in the sun, dancing in the rain, having experiences with the wind, doing breath work, all of the things, and all of the things you haven't thought of, the things that are more in the mineral kingdom and in other kingdoms that exist on earth as your support, but we have turned our faces away from because we're busy filling our hands up with our phones, which harvest our attention.
Harvest, and I love that you are using the language harvesting and farming of what it does is give gravity to what's really happening in perspective, because sometimes these things are peripheral, like extreme peripheral. We have some level of awareness, but it's way back here, and it's not enough influence to, or it's not strong enough to influence our decision making, so that we don't become tasty morsels for forms of anti-life.
Yeah, it's very much the way that the human history that we have been fed, which is not accurate, but that we can still see we can follow the dots to cause and effect of what happens to humans. There's war, there's enslavement, there's more war, there's more enslavement, there's people become less powerful and less powerful and less powerful, and they feel like it's the war and the enslavement, but it starts within the soul of the person and their levels of sovereignty.
Yes.
What will you refuse? Do you refuse the drug? Do you refuse the alcohol? Do you refuse the diseased sex? Do you refuse the slack attitudes? Do you refuse to submit to someone else's discordant energy, and now because they're disturbed, now you're disturbed that they're disturbed? That, sovereignty would be like, oh, I see you not doing the best, I'm still happy. So, and so they're like, but I'm really sad. I'm like, I'm still happy.
That's right. I'm sovereign. Your experience is your experience.
Yes, I'm still happy, and I want to continue that, and I will give you some of my happiness if you would allow me to do so. I have enough. My pockets are full.
Yeah, really quick, I want to just chime in. Us, the Riverside is not showing the chat, so I just pulled up my device. I see we're hearing some people saying we sound far away. Just let us know in the chat if the audio is stronger. We're making little minor adjustments here so that it can come through just in case. But we appreciate you all letting us know. There were some background sounds from the machines generating, which clearly I addressed. But let us know, that way we can make sure that the audio is coming in loud and clear and strong. But again, Lalta, this is really good. So Luminous Life Method, this is something that you are doing recurring. This is something that people need to know how to live differently.
Several times a year we plan on doing this.
Yeah.
Every 2 or 3 months, we'll run this class, and because we are always at the current level of our understanding, and we are always open to understand more, and as we understand more, we'll bring it forward. This is, this is not a dead situation where it is written and it will never, nothing else can ever be said.
Right.
It's like, we've written it down and there's room for more paragraphs.
Well, certainly. I love it. I love it. So then also catch us throughout the week. Yesterday we had midday meditation, Diane in Look Studio 1. 12 noon, you can catch her for some illumination of the light body. And this is a segment that's in tandem with what we're doing every single week on Sundays. So we're in the root chakra right now. We're having some spectacular experiences with the root. And we're looking forward to this upcoming Sunday to go a little deeper, anchoring into that root. And for anybody who's looking to pace with us, if you're looking to move into practical application of igniting the light body, join us every Sunday, 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Eastern, in the group energy of many moving as one, again embodying and activating the technology of light. That is what you are.
Where do they sign up for that? Is
It's
it on the website?
links in the description. Everything that we're talking about is in the description. So if you're like, you know what, I like that, let me open the description. You want to take energetic protection defense? Open the description. You want to take light body? Open the description. You want to get yourself a frequency water? I'm going to talk about this in a bit. Open the description. So then we also have on Mondays, Lauren is doing Flowers and Frequencies, taking us into different levels of consciousness, and this is at 6 p.m. Eastern, and I understand you're going to be on one of the next episodes this upcoming Monday, so stay tuned for that. And speaking about freedom, and I believe looking at the cotton in general, which is also interesting as well. And then Diane's going to be doing the Divine Nation card pool this Friday, and every second and third Friday she's doing free card readings live on this channel, and then also I'm there on the third Friday joining tag team with her. And then fourth Friday you can catch some of the core clearers, myself, Diane, Lauren of the Sun, Tiffany of the Sun on the West Coast. She's an instructor of property clearing. We're going to be diving into Quantum Light Property Clearing Chronicles. This is entailing powerful real life stories regarding the clearing process and the power of the methodology of quantum light property clearing, how it extends as a form of protection, how you can rearrange the morphic field, the field of memory within your home to support the direction and trajectory of growth and evolution. You know, it's a powerful modality when we begin to understand that everything has a field. And if you can change the field, which is informing the physicality or the organism, you can influence behavior in a positive trajectory, because we are clearly being influenced into detriment based off of the fields of influence. As curator of quantum light property clearing, what are your thoughts on this and the necessity of property clearing at this time on the planet?
It's necessary. Physical reality requires physical, spiritual, mental, and metaphysical and metaphorical clearing. It requires us to want cleanliness, even the concept of purity and cleanliness, which we associate with the divine. We associate it with high religious aspirations. We associate it with higher vibrations. It is that understanding, that consciousness of cleanliness, that once we want that, when people start getting work done, soul clearings with us or property clearings, they start cleaning the house. They start throwing away clutter. They start emptying out cabinets. They start doing the things that bring cleanliness into their experience so that they can then have more control over what's happening. When you have 20 years of old newspapers in the garage, there is a situation with that the papers are rotting, they're molding, all kinds of things are happening. You're accumulating negative, which has a frequency which may come under the garage door and into the house and into your bedroom. So there's all of those kinds of things that happen. The same applies to having neighbors who are loud or that create irritation. All of these things can be cleared, and some of them are cleared after we clear things energetically. many times people then start cleaning things physically because it supports the energetic or what's done in the unseen. It is thought that happens first. Part of clearing is the focus, dynamic energy of thought of cleanliness that is weaponized to do a property clearing. That actually is what property clearing is. And once you've launched that, it changes everything. People are like, I think I'll wash the linen. I think I'll clean out the cabinets. I think I'll I'm gonna move my mother's stuff. And that's, it's like that.
It allows flow. It collapses the resistance and the stagnation that's in the field because of congestion. That's what it looks like to me, because sometimes the thought comes through, but we just don't have the energy and the emphasis to do it, because the broadcast of how many times we did not do it is influencing us to repeat the behavior. And so this is yelling freedom, sovereignty, within our spaces, and that's where it starts.
Yes.
Most people are like, I want to change the government and the corporations and the and all the systems. Like, no, start with what's in arm's reach.
Yes.
And that has power to influence the greater morphic field, which eludes us.
So we do have power over our realities. We do have power over our experience, but we're sometimes overwhelmed with the many layers of thought that are ours and our ancestors and our neighbors, and the prevailing cultural understandings and religious understandings that make us think we need to be small and make sure we're humble and small and don't say anything and don't pick a fight. And that's why we're in the condition we're currently in.
All those characteristics,
The
I saw
passivity.
myself Spartan kicking them. Having them like, get down out of here, man. It goes against the prime directive.
Passivity
Completely goes against how we were designed.
Passivity is the enemy.
It is.
It's the passiveness in you that allows for people to treat you a certain way or talk to you a certain way, or for you to talk to yourself with the voice of someone who has no power. That's the enemy. Once you're able to have the courage to speak back to self, that's the beginning of sovereignty. And that's the beginning of freedom, whether you're clearing a house or an apartment, land, ghosts, whatever it is the clarity of purpose and the depth of your understanding that gives you the power to move through the slackness and the slowness of the low levels of energy that may bring in suffering and pain. Those are low, that's like quicksand.
Yeah, I can see it. That's a great example or analogy. Because it
And
slowly happens and you're like, oh, wait, next thing you know, half of your body is submerged in this interference.
Yeah, and so that part can't help you get out.
No, it's hard. It's like, all I got is my upper body. And there's only so much time I keep going under. That is such a great analogy to it. And this is one of the things that I'm striving to do as an instructor with Another Sun, is to assist with conveying visually what the interferences look like, because the idea of it being subtle, sometimes it seems so out of sight and out of mind. And then you mentioned we're so inundated and distracted that we don't, our sensitivity and astuteness to perceive what is really happening at the level that it's happening, again, it escapes us. So analogies like this, they really land, and trust that this is landing for you all, so that you can see how this applies in your everyday life, to have the necessary desire to prevent this. Oh, I see my foot's in the quicksand. Let me get my foot up out of here, because I know what's going to happen. It's only a matter of time.
And some of the solutions, remember what nature is, the clarity of creation. So we can look at the trees. Do the trees let you just mess with them? Like, it's true that they don't react the way humans do, but left alone, a tree will overtake, the roots will overtake what's around it. The vines will grow in it and overtake buildings. I've lived in buildings that were surrounded by trees, actually like held together.
It literally was. The moment they removed it, everything started falling apart.
So it's this idea of being the noble, dutiful, clear, upright, uh, reaching towards the sun, breathing the air and housing that which is appropriate to be housed. Be the tree, be the ground, be the sun, be the stone.
Be the stone. This
Yeah. Yeah.
a little teaser for you all in light body root chakra. We got something in store for you all. We are so looking forward to it. So before we shift gears, one more thing I want to speak about frequency water. Lao Tzu, she has brought forth the energetic support product frequency water. This has been a staple since I first met her over a decade ago, and even prior to that, she was bringing forth this product, this type of product, as a solution for sustaining our frequency bandwidth or introducing new frequencies. And so, funny enough, I started working with this. This is the Truth Frequency Water, and I thought about it today because I'm like, man, the experiences that I'm having with light body and integrating using truth as a frequency to sustain coherence, it is so palpable. It's transformational. I feel rapid expansion, but it's really the sustainment of the coherence that allows the field to get bigger instead of the dwindling in, right? And I'm like, oh my gosh, truth is so powerful. It is so, truth is protecting me. Like when I'm confronted with people who, they're the liar, they're trying to manipulate or coerce me, because I'm filled with the truth, I'm able to literally speak truth to the lie and refrain from giving up my power in ways that I have, let's just say it's a whole nother level. And so I started taking the frequency one. I'm like, let me get some more truth in me. I need all truth because I see more and more what truth is. And it makes me think about the Call for the Truth book, which we're going to start bringing that back. And you brought forth this particular water around that time.
Yes.
Because you saw people need to call for the truth. And I see it more than ever. Hindsight, I'm like, dang, loads of bad. I know you were saying it back in 2024, 2020, 2022. I finally caught up. Like, I'm in there. I'm on the train. I didn't caught. But it is the solution. But I'd like to speak a little bit about this, and then I want to pass it to you, and then we can dive into our. So, from my understanding, frequency water. This is the concept. We are an accumulation of frequencies. And we have a frequency bandwidth, and sometimes we're lacking frequencies within our expression that would assist with stabilization or perpetuate growth and evolution. Sometimes it's things like strength as a frequency, sometimes it's peace, sometimes it's courage, and in this case, truth, because again, truth can help you protect the field. And so with the frequency water, it's very simple. It's water that's structured and it's entrained with the frequency of truth. Love is a frequency generator. Everybody is, but coherence is key. So she can coherently imprint it, and you essentially spray this orally. You can spray it in your field like perfume, but spray it orally. The water travels through the waterways of your biology, and that frequency is within the water. You end up usually feeling it within your brain, your nervous system. And then next thing you know, it's broadcasting, but it's important to understand that this is not a crutch. This is a support product. It will help you amplify that which you're already going after. So this really introduces and stabilizes the frequencies that we're looking to adhere to in our field. And again, in the most simplest way, truth does help protect the field. I was thinking about this. I was journaling this morning and thinking about how, when we speak thoughts of truth, when we emote truth, when we have conversations or take in information of truth, it has a biological response. Even our immune system is strengthened and or weakened with the lack thereof. And so it's imperative that we become the truth. You become more of the truth, your biology becomes strong, your immune systems become stronger. That is protection at the biological level. But again, the physical immune system is a direct correlation with the spiritual immune system. So dealing with the energy first is pertinent. It's the causal factor. So this is one of the energetic support products I wanted to share today because I'm seeing so much of the benefit in my own experience. But again, I think it's important that we understand who and what we are as frequency beings, and that it does require building up, and sometimes we might need a little help.
Absolutely. This is a very powerful easy, inexpensive way to make definitive changes. We are all frequency, and everybody probably understands that theoretically. But what that actually means is that you may not be what you think you are. Your frequency may be one of not being able to keep your word. Your frequency might be one of not recognizing that you are as important and beautiful as you are. Your frequency might be one where others have overtaken you in conversation or in circumstance, but you may think yourself something else. But when we are able to read the frequency, we can see what it is, and frequency water adds to the bandwidth of what's needed. So we also do custom frequency waters where I may add 5 or 10 frequencies in for someone's bandwidth. And that then means that they have an opportunity to be within the frequency. So most of you have heard the story that if you're with someone, if you're friends, there was a scientific experiment that was done that showed that if you're around the same people for 5 years, if they're rich, you become within 10% of their wealth. If they're poor, you become within 10%. That's frequency. If you are around millionaires, you may pick up the frequencies of being a millionaire. If you're around babies, you may pick up the frequencies of motherhood or parenting. If you're not, you may not have those frequencies. You may not have the frequencies of a pet owner. These are all frequencies that can be added based on what you're doing, but you don't necessarily have them. So someone might say to me, well, I want to have a baby and I'm 40, but I used to babysit when I was 15. There's an indicator that you don't have those frequencies because you're not actively doing things that would express those frequencies.
Yeah.
So, and I can give everyone an example. If the audience will take a moment to indulge this example of frequency, I will show you a frequency that is very rich, that can be very uplifting. You are encouraged to take a moment to become meditative, and I will share with you the frequency of memory. If you will remember what it felt like to be in a warm bath when you were a small child, and for your mother to pick you up in a warm towel and hold you, dry you off, put you in your pajamas for you to go to sleep. The frequency has kicked in.
Just hearing that has me feeling all soft and tender.
Yeah, so that's a frequency that I'm delivering to you without the water. But that's a frequency, and your ability to hold that is what is developed over time, where now that thought you can reference all day long today and any day in the future. When you're feeling like, they didn't talk to me right, you could say, but I loved them. I could remember mother's love. I remember what it felt like I still have that. That's in my frequency bandwidth. I can call upon that. That's something that's available to me. It's something I have and I can give. It's something I am and then I can distribute. So that's how that example is how frequency water works. If you were moved by that, you will probably be moved by the frequency waters.
Yeah, so again, it's in the description. Open that description. If you're looking to work frequency waters, there are a myriad of different frequency waters that you have produced to assist us in expanding our frequency bandwidth, introducing frequencies that we require. And you might intuitively see something on the site that just speaks to where you are. Truth might be a thing, but you might need more peace. And so grab yourself a peace frequency water. You might need courage. Who doesn't in this world? And so, again, very powerful but simple product. Again, link in the description below. So with that being said, welcome everyone. We are about to dive into our podcast today. And so I want to first off give some appreciation, gratitude to everybody in the live chat. Looks like just like a tad bit of a hiccup with the streaming platform. Looks like our audio settings are all where they need to be, but clearly the playback, it sounds almost like we're in a spacious room or some sort. We can still be heard, but it's not as refined. So, if you're looking to hold it down with us or hold it up with us, stay within this frequency. We're still going to bring truth today. So, with that being said, today we're talking about our last tenet, which is protect the field. And I'm telling you, this is my favorite one because it is so real that there are so many things out there that may potentially drop us from our elevation, drop us from the glory that we've cultivated. You started your day, you're on a high, and the next thing you know, you just you end up autopilot on, and then you may not be as strong to just be autopiloting through the world, and then next thing you know, something penetrates your field that's not so savory and knocks us off of our game. And so it's imperative to be in a space where we see the value in constantly clearing, which I think is a key, because some people don't see the value in clearing regularly. There's a young man who I told him, hey, it might be best to wash your car frequently. He's like, what about once a month? I was like, once a month? What? So it's we are washing daily our bodies, but again, things happen throughout the day, so we wash our hands frequently. And understanding the causal factor and influence, everything's energy. There are things that are happening that impact us non-locally through time and space that may require a little bit of what you might pick up. Oh, somebody thinking some funky thoughts about me. And then are you dropping in frequency? Are you over here having a scuffle with the thought form, rolling around on the ground, getting beat up? So being able to do something about that and not allowing that to continue and persist, because it's much like that quicksand that you were speaking about. So with that being said, Walter, would you kick us off with this idea of protecting the field, explaining the importance, giving us an introduction to the importance of why this is valuable to do such a thing?
We are in a network. We're part of the Earth network, and everything is one thing. We are being touched by many things. So if it's raining outside, the barometric pressure still touches you inside. You're still having the experience
that's such a great example
of rain. If it's 100 degrees, which I heard it was 100 degrees at 8 p.m. last night in Wisconsin, that then affects everyone's experience, and it affects what's going on in their bodies. If they have parasites, how uncomfortable they are, what's happening in the physicality of the body. Are you able to handle these higher temperatures? Is your physicality ready for this experience? Are you cool enough? Have you done the things you need to do? So we're in these overlapping fields of the things that we see on the news, what's happening with Diddy and what's happening with Epstein, and we're in overlapping fields. And to offset, this has to be acknowledged that we're in fields that are contaminating.
Yeah.
Not of our making individually, but of humanity's making, which we're part of.
Yeah.
And that the greater idea would be to understand that the 24-hour cycle is an indicator of how often we need to do things. So just as we have been taught about biology, that we need to shower on a regular basis, wash our hands, clean the bathrooms, do the dishes, all these things based on use, a 24-hour cycle is a good cycle for energetic work. Every morning, set your day or the night before, and then do a 24-hour cycle. And you could absolutely do more, but at least every 24 hours, do something that you have learned, a technique that will offset the network that's trying to include you, plug you in.
Yes.
The network's constantly trying to plug into you.
Always, and we just like,
Well, we need to be that way. Sometimes we are, sometimes we're not. Sometimes we are with television, but we're not with food, and we are with friends, and we're not clear on our enemies,
Yeah.
So there's all of that.
Excuse me, I thought you were talking about the good network. Good network, that's the network that I want to connect with. Mother, where are you? I'm looking to plug in. So I want to go back to this 24-hour thing. So I literally had a thought about that a few days ago. I was traversing from the car into the gym, and I had cleared the path, and I was just thinking about the experience and harmonizing with adhering to clearing the path for my experience in the gym. And then they brought me to the importance of clearing 24 hours. It is not enough to rely on yesterday's clearing.
When you say they, you're talking about your guidance.
They being my guidance, my group, my homies, but my best friends, my family, my ancestry, the angels, the source, higher self, all of them. Sometimes it mixes up, but constant conversation, and yes, I speak back, and sometimes out loud. And so I'm walking, and they're showing me this importance of how it's not enough. It's imperative. And then they showed me, like, think about habits that you're looking to develop. And sometimes you've set a new habit the day before and it hasn't quite locked in. So now you got to reinform yourself about this new habit, right? And the sleep process is really a reset. It's a reset. And like, you might not recall everything from that you were doing yesterday. So you have these reminders to lock back into the frequency of maybe the new habit, the new pattern. And they said it's no different energetically. It's the same concept. It would be best for you to do it. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna make sure, we're staying locked in 24 hours.
It's everything that if you want to add something or change something that is beyond what you are currently doing, it requires determination and repetition.
Yes.
That's why we have the 21-day transformative idea of changing an idea, changing a habit. 21 days will do that. We have a document that helps us do that, and I've seen it work numerous times, and it's worked on me as well. We often think, yes, I'm going to do this, and then what happens is our day-to-day overshadows it and devours it, and then we wake up 3 days later like, oh, I was going to do so-and-so, and I really want to do it, and I'm really committed to that idea, but I didn't give myself a sticky note or an alarm, or I didn't have a practice that I included it in every morning, and then we are less successful in accomplishing the new idea, which is essentially the same as frequency water. It's adding something to your bandwidth, only in this case it becomes your subconscious. I now become subconsciously as well as consciously protected. And of course, the subconscious is always on.
Always.
So it always knows what's going on. So you want to program the subconscious. We are programmable, it's true. We can program the subconscious to support us in our protection.
Speaking of which, just had a thought. Every first Friday, Diane of Sun at the Lucas Studio does the Evolutionary Book Club. And the upcoming book is going to be The Subconscious Speaks.
Yes, it's great.
It's an excellent book that entails or gives you an education from the perspective of the subconscious literally speaking to you. And it's a great book. I love it because it touches on different layers of reality of how when the subconscious is impressed with fear and what that looks like, or as it pertains to our finances and our relationships. But again, understanding the relationship of the subconscious with the conscious mind and the universal mind, and how you can move in pocket and really work with it instead of it working based off of what you've been predisposed to, the stuff we grew up with, the traumas, etc., and just re-steer this thing in another direction to be of service.
It's an excellent book. It's also available on audio. I don't know exactly what the availability is, but it's short. Within a few hours, you can be finished by the ride home.
Yeah, it's like an hour and a half, probably
It's
less.
it's a very good book, worthy of listening to. And if any of you would, we encourage you to listen to it, whether you join the call or not. But the podcast will be still online. You can listen to it at another time too.
Exactly. So I want to pivot to another aspect, because when we say protect the field, one of the subtexts is avoid drama, avoid gossip, things like that, and it's a normal thing. We are overly saturated with it. In some cases, we're predisposed to it when we're not even looking for it. You know, we'll be scrolling or doing something and it's gossip or some drama will jump out the screen, and then we have other cases where it may be family, it may be friends, people at work where they just start dumping in the drama and the gossip, and then that's what I noticed where it's like, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna just sit there and take it? Do you have a recycling bin emblem on your chest or on your forehead, right? Like who are you in this moment? And so I've noticed that sometimes people are just susceptible in allowing and permitting. So we were speaking about the tenets in the Luminous Life Method, and the concept of protective field. We were, and I think it was also relating to one of the other tenets, but the core premise was that we operate socially in such a way where we're like, oh, I won't say anything to keep the peace, or I will be nice. And like you made a very funny comment because you're like, there is no peace because you're over here feeling all the negativity within you and suffering because you won't open your throat or articulate the dissatisfaction or the non-consent with the negativity of the drama and the gossip that's being projected on you.
This is another one of those, excuse me, another one of those situations where we don't know what the word means. We want people to be nice, and nice means courteous, but if you look at how the word derives from Latin, it means ignore. We want people to ignore our bad behavior. We want people to ignore whatever it is we don't want to see.
It's so deep.
Right, and so this wanting to be nice is not a favorable thing.
Just be nice, meaning translation, just ignore, dismiss that, look the other way, and this is how we've gotten into the circumstance we find ourselves in as humanity.
Yes.
We've turned to, oh, that's crazy, but I'm going to look this way. Oh, Epstein, pedophiles, this and that, I'm going to look this way. What they're doing to the food, I'm going to look this way. And look at us, can't eat nothing.
And not only that, when we look this way, it's there.
Yeah, right? Like,
oh, look over here.
It's still... It doesn't completely move out of the
But we try to
observational field.
pretend we're going to look somewhere else. It is incumbent upon us to be the other frequency. How about I just be the truth? How about I be the truth of who I am, and who I am doesn't like that, and I may not share it just because you're walking down the street, but if you bring it into my experience, I may tell you about
That's right,
it.
I'm going to let you know. I am in a space where humans, we need to turn up. You were just talking about passivity. How many times have you allowed somebody to walk up into your house, your structure, your field, right? And sometimes it's physically your actual home that you live in, track up energetic dirt, kick their shoes off, feet on the couch, leaving cups, and then you didn't say anything, and then they leave, and you're like, how did I let them do this? Feeling some type of way. It does not pay. And again, this is happening at the micro, it's happening at the macro. Something's got to give.
Well, and the idea is you could have said something. You could have said, you can't stay here. Take your bloody shoes and leave.
Oh, but I'm allowed to. I was taught to be nice. I was taught I'm trying to keep the peace here.
Yes.
I don't want to be hostile.
And don't consider
Good vibes.
Don't consider it hostility. Consider it sovereignty.
Yes.
That you will protect that which is yours, that you have made happen for yourself. You protect that. It is incumbent upon us to. It's the first law of creation. It's self-preservation. I can't preserve myself if I let you overrun me with your bad habits. And you have the right to preserve whatever you have carved out for yourself. But if you don't stand up for what it is that you think, it's not even about what anybody else thinks, then you really become the person who the tracks of their footprints will be on your back.
That's right.
Oh, I see you laying there. Oh, I see the bears came through.
Yeah, we're not talking about none of that deep Thai massage. This is not going to feel good. It's not going to be therapeutic. It's going to leave you in pain and suffering, wishing you would have, should have, could have, would have said something differently.
So many times, just saying something, a person will be brought back to their senses. It's, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't think to say, remove my shoes, whatever it was. Excuse me. A lot of times the whole thing collapses.
That's a really good point. It's
Many
not as big
times
as what we think it is
it
to
really isn't. Like,
address it.
and it also depends on, how you say it. Choose the
Yeah.
highest way in which to say it. If it hits the ground hard, then it breaks. Sweep it up. you know?
Let's talk about that briefly. I've heard clients say, no one can tolerate because I'm just the truth, and like it just they can't handle it. And it's like, yo, you are punching people in the throat with the truth. You're over here hurting people intentionally, and like the context of how the truth is delivered. Something that has stuck with me for some time is that truth is truth, and how you deliver the truth in terms of like it could be a plate, it could be there could be a little garnish on it, it could be served cold, it could be raw. Truth is the truth, but the delivery of it can always be refined. Would you speak about that type of individual who, because that's a archetype who they feel as though they are expressing their truth and no one can handle their truth, so they don't have anyone around them because the truth is too much for them to handle. But in reality, they over here smacking people up, taking heads unnecessarily.
I mean, there's truth and there's dead truth.
Yeah.
And
Dead
you don't want to really be on the side of the truth that is painful in and of itself, not because of the way the person receives it. So if you recognize that you are the other, that we are all one, do you remember that you're talking to yourself? Are you speaking to your child, lover, mother, coworker from the point of view of I am you? That will be conveyed. It'll be part of the equation. And how they respond, that they are free to respond however they like, but you have already elevated yourself to be bulletproof because of your intention to be elevated. Like, let me say this in a way that is clear, but where you can best digest it. So you have to gauge what you know about the person.
Yes, the gauging.
You have to be a person who can identify what you've seen. Will this person, and sometimes you will choose that this person is emotional and there may be an outburst, but it's worth it. And I'm not going to be damaged by an outburst because I've already decided that won't happen.
Humpty Dumpty. Can they put Humpty back together again? It's not none of
So
my
many
business.
people are emotional, and it's not whatever you say, and I'm sure people in the chat are thinking this, that no matter whatever you say, if you address something that needs to be fixed, a lot of people will deconstruct in front of you. That is not you're not to concern yourself with that if your will to deliver the truth for the best of everyone is there. Their deconstruction has less to do with you and more to do with whatever happened to them yesterday, and the day before, and the day before that. It doesn't really, and so if you understand that, you think, oh, it must have been a difficult week.
Yeah, I want to speak about that. Something that I've experienced real time, just like that, is that truth protects you from the deconstructing that's happening.
Yes.
It strengthens you. It's so multifaceted. It's like you have the truth to speak truth, directed, and in the directing and their potential collapse, because not everybody collapses, but with this, you're able to still sustain your frequency.
The truth supports you. Like the trees, the roots are support the tree. Your uprightness and correctness in identifying what is truth and what must be said for the better, greater good of all concerned, that protects you. There's protection in the stability of truth. There's protection in the stability of being able to have the courage. There's protection in courage. I wrote in my book, that the coward dies 1,000 times. The hero dies only once. Which would you choose?
The hero path.
Yes.
It's just ongoing, long-standing suffering.
Yeah, the
I didn't
death
sign
of a
up for that.
thousand cuts. You live with somebody and they fall out all day long every day. That's the death of a thousand cuts.
Well, that looks too good to be messing my skin up. And works for, glow. Band-aids everywhere. It's bloody. Stain in my clothes. No,
So
class.
the having courage, speaking the truth, they are interconnected. When you know the truth, the courage will come up in you, and then you have to decide whether you will execute it or not. And when it does, often whatever you're talking about collapses because the incongruency cannot stand up to the stability of truth.
That's something that is so powerful. I love that you said that, and you all might want to write that down. The instability of the distortion, I think you said, cannot stand up to the stability of truth.
Right.
And the human experience, that escapes us. It eludes us that truth has that kind of power.
Sometimes it takes time. Like sometimes somebody will come back to you a month later, I'm sorry about the way I was talking to you because now I see what you were saying. So sometimes it's like that. You got to be okay with that.
Yes.
I'm okay with you getting it today or later. I'm okay if you don't ever get it. I have put it into the air.
Could we talk a little bit more about that psychologically? Like how a person can move into that space, because oftentimes we are so attached to the response. We want them to like us. We don't want to lose someone. We feel like there will be loss if I dare say the truth. So what's the appropriate perspective to have for us to move into the pocket of, if I lose you over this, so be it. Because I have my understandings, but I want to hear yours.
Well, it's not so much that if I lose you, is that the only chance I have to love you properly would be if we can be in accord with what is true. This is more an opportunity. Let me love you by sharing this, and then you can give me the appropriate response. It's not really about losing you, it's about loving you. Do I love you enough? Do you love your child enough to tell them that you need to correct your behavior?
And this is so deep. It's cycling back to what you were saying, which is so beautiful. You are the other person. When you can see that you're them, your delivery is more tapered and there's precision to give the appropriate dosage of medication. You're not trying to make them OD and foam at the mouth with truth. This is the medicine that will help heal you. And it's the oneness and seeing through the other, that is such a key.
I often tell mothers who are working with their children, and the children are doing what children do in our society, and they are concerned. And I said, you have to decide. It is incumbent upon you to produce someone that people will like. You're not to produce something that everybody hates.
Little monsters.
You're not to produce. So your will should be greater than the will of someone who's underdeveloped. So you have to decide, I need to make a person who other people will be able to, at the very least, tolerate and better.
The visuals in my mind, I haven't shake it. I saw a parent and a little child just running the parent into the ground. It's like, parents like, I don't know what to do with them. It's like, you small little human, you only been here for about 5 years, 6 max. Come on now.
But this is where the child gives the parent this lovely opportunity to gather themselves in congruency and be the truth of what the parent is. It serves us.
Yes.
It serves both sides, and that is us, being feral.
Yes.
And we need to civilize our families and all of those who interact with us to bring them into a frequency that's palatable for us and the world. That's a necessary thing, and we have not been really good at that. So sometimes they get away from us and out the house, and they're
just bucking and kicking with the hind legs and eating everything that comes within 2 feet of them. I want to pivot a little bit. There's a portion here, and by the way, drop some comments if this resonates with you all, and because a lot of this is very practical and daily experiences that we all have at varying levels, or at least you've seen it. So there's a section here that talks about avoid. I want to go a little deeper into that. And so when I hear that, I want to make sure that we're clear that we're not looking to avoid in the sense of be dismissive, ignore, like nice, uh, not necessarily where we're apathetic. It's more of like prudence, cautiousness, having the wherewithal to discern, or in some cases, needing to, hey, stop it, or I'm unavailable. The avoidance is more so of like I'm keeping or sustaining the purity at pretty much all costs. What are your thoughts on this? Like to understand like the idea of avoidance.
It's the beginning. Like in the beginning, when you first recognize that you would like to change and you're developing, you may have thoughts of, oh, I better not hang out with the person I used to hang out with that made me lose 2 years and I don't even remember that just our fog, because of whatever we were doing together and all those empty pizza boxes. So, but what happens is, and I like to present this as a example, is wealth does not need to avoid poverty. Wealth is wealth. There is no poverty. When you are the truth, the lie doesn't live with you. It doesn't sleep in your bed.
It's
It
so
doesn't
powerful.
knock on your door. It's just because but there are levels to this. So you can, obtainment of the clarity and, as you said, the coherence brings you to a point where you don't have to avoid war. War doesn't live where you live. There's no war in your bedroom. And if there's war in your country, you got a ticket to go somewhere else. So being the clarity of what the item is, whatever the consciousness is, whatever that frequency is, automatically disperses that which is the opposite.
Yeah, it's so fascinating because I can see that through the processes of light body activation,
Yes.
coherently broadcasting truth, joy, thankfulness, and how it moves anything else that's less than or the polar opposite out of the field. It's what it looks like to me. And when you were saying it about wealth, it was just so clear. Like I see the field and I see it's just the radiance of that beacon and like nothing else, unless it's bumping up against wealth, it is unwelcomed.
Well, it's
Magnetism.
It's sunny out. It ain't dark
No,
because the sun is coherent.
that's right.
The sun
And that
is
loosey-goosey
not
flippy
having
floppy.
it. Dark has its time when the sun's ready to go. The dark can come in after the sun is
Yeah.
gone.
Until then, we're lighting up.
Yes, it's like that's the
Yes.
real of it.
Yeah, and it's the radial nature of it is what I can see as well, shining in all directions and up, down,
But
left,
there's
right.
much to be
360.
had in these concepts, and there are many levels and layers to your congruence and coherency that automatically keep you where you want to be as you strive towards it and achieve it and go deeper into it.
Yeah, this is one of the reasons why I love Sun as the example, because of that. And again, look to nature, right?
Mhm.
Where we can see how and who we are, how we operate, how we function, excuse me, as a reference point, because again, we have kind of been ignoring the references. So I want to go into one last bit before we go to our commercial break, and then we'll check and see if we got any questions that are worth responding to from you all. I know you all have been hanging out with us, and we appreciate that, and we trust that you are finding value from all of the tenets, and finding ways in which we can really create a new civilization, starting with ourselves, and that's what I wanted to go into. We were speaking about this in the Luminous Life Method of how important it is to understand that we need a new civilization, but it's not going to start with hoping and praying that our government does something or that Congress. Look at here. You all ever watch the clips with Congress and like, why won't they ever answer the question? It gets to a point where we have to realize it is not intended for them to make those changes. This is all theater, what we're looking at, and the real change is going to come from a grassroots level. It's going to come from the people but at an individual level, deciding to be that change within our households, within our everyday interactions. And from a grander perspective, I can see the necessity of, what people in the spiritual community call star seeds. Are you allowing yourself to be planted and to sprout up and blossom and give the fruits of why you came here, and like to become new and to transform the consciousness of humanity through transforming yourself? Or are you a stagnant seed, not sprouting and staying in your stuckness, where the potential to bring something new into the planet never really actualizes? So would you speak deeper into how the tenets in general, because we're closing out, this is the last tenet, which doesn't mean that we're not going to keep talking about it, but how the tenets can help us usher in a new civilization, starting with ourselves.
So we are at the time of the deconstruction of our world, and we can all see that there are fires, floods, earthquakes, people dying from the heat. We know we're part of a network that has been poisoned, and much that we have been part of, much that has diminished some of the effects that would have already happened here. Our work in clearing has helped with that, and there are those who will work with the emerging new human. There's no one here on earth right now who didn't come here to be part of that experience at one level or another, to either be the ones that get filtered out or the ones that don't get filtered out. Everybody has their rightful place in this. And the opportunity exists for a different experience. We have been repeating, this is the sixth earth, we have been repeating march towards suicide for millennia. And it can stop as soon as we decide that we will stop it. Everything does not have to be the way we think it is, and but as a matter of fact, nothing is the way we think it is. The way the stars in the skies, the planet itself, none of it's the way we think it is. The history we think, who we think we are, none of that is what we think it is. Allow yourself to be flexible, to take from that, like, oh, this is an opportunity, that can be anything. Because I'm not stuck in being one thing, because that wasn't a lie anyway. My history that they have told me is not my history. I have much more history. So this is a wonderful opportunity for us to birth a new human with a new design. And we are very much in the practical application of pulling together the kinds of techniques and the kinds of experiences and the levels of clear direction that will help people choose the truth. Choose the truth of who you are. Choose the truth of that which you would like to become. Use your aspects to create the reality that you want to see, instead of, wringing your hands in disappointment about what is. Use every opportunity that you see where humanity has gone wrong to say, oh no, we're going to do the opposite of that. We're going to uphold people. We're going to really educate people. We're going to make people well. We're not going to do the things that have been done in the name of all of those things. Then we'll have real justice. We'll have real food. These are all things you can decide, and as we decide, there is such a thing as critical mass. We don't need everybody on the planet to decide for it to be so. The ones who want this can harmoniously, frequency-wise, join together in frequency, and it can be delivered. It can happen that way. So it's really a matter of, are you happy with your life? You look around. You happy with what's going on in the streets? You happy with what's on your social media? You happy with your parents? You happy with your children? If not, here's an opportunity. It's not a terrible thing. It's an opportunity for you to make a difference in the experience of humanity. It is time for us to consider the art and logistics of civilization, not just we just are born and we bump into things until we end up bruised and battered at the end of the game. So that's what I want to say.
Yeah, thank you so much. That's a powerful way to conclude with our topic. So we're gonna go to a quick commercial break and come right back. Double check in on the chat, see if you all have any questions that you want to share with Lalta, especially those who are pacing. You know, we're about 14, 15 people strong, and clearly the information has your ear. So if there's any questions you have as it relates to the tenets and greater embodiment, you know, drop a comment, let us know a question for Lalta. This is a great time to plug into the wisdom.
Or support. You could say, I'm in support.
Yeah, throw up hashtag support. All right, we'll be right back. This is a minute. We're going to go to our commercial break from our sponsor, Aluka Inc.
Alex, you're the owner of Aluka Group. How is Aluka Group changing how investors buy and store gold?
Most people think buying gold means walking into a store and hoping you're getting the right price. We've built Aluka Group to erase that friction, modernize how the world owns gold. At Aluka, we're merging centuries of trust with 21st.
All right, we're back. So we're just going to stop that. Reason being, it seems like it's something up with the server or the host with the streaming. The audio is not playing from the video, and it's unmuted. So we'll have to take a look at this in the back end. But
We have people on live stream waiting to comment. So
that's
that's
right.
good.
Let us know if you got some comments in the chat. If you got support. In the meantime, I'm just going to give a quick roll call for everybody who's in the chat from what I can see. Giving a warm in Lakesh and Veritas. And by the way, for anyone who's here who's like, what's this in Lakesh and Veritas? I see all these people commenting in Lakesh and Veritas. What does that even mean? In Lakesh is I see myself in you. I am you, you are me, we are one. There is no separation. Veritas is Latin. Truth. Get your truth frequency water. Truth. We are one, that's the truth, period, at the end. And these are frequencies, these are reminders. This is sacred space. And I would say, even before I do this roll call, may we strive to embody the broadcast. May we strive to, because this is something that I'm often stretching for. When I say in like Cash and Veritas, I take, sometimes it's just a little second of like, that's me. Like, let me see myself. Instead of like, and look at Veritas, like, you see what they did to Namaste. You see what they did to Namaste. Can't you see? Namaste in bed? Come on. Like, humans just lose the sacredness. Just, oh my gosh, commercialism. And it's, may we continue to hold this into exaltation, because that is the ultimate truth. You know, everything we're striving for is oneness. You know, to be literally truth as we were establishing. And it's a reminder in, again, this goes back to what you were saying, because you called back to, isn't that your other self when you're sharing the truth? Like, and it's the lack thereof when we do share the truth that it's like, oh, why are they so bloody? Because you didn't recognize that your other self didn't require that dosage.
I'd like to just make a comment
Yes,
about
please.
this before you go on, that we offer to another person, this is a gift. I offer you the understanding that we are one and the truth. What should happen with that is the person now accepts the gift and keeps it for 24 hours. We don't have to keep saying it. You have it now. It's yours. You can, if you understand it, you have it.
Right?
Yeah, I
Did
gave it to
your
you.
oneness and truth sieve out? Did you leave it in the parking lot?
I gave it to you. Your understanding of what the value of it means that you were like, yes, I see you again. I still have my Lakesh from earlier.
Yeah, we vibrating still. We
Yeah.
haven't lost sight of who we are.
Tomorrow I'll give you another one.
Yeah, and refresh that 24 hours. I got you tomorrow. I'm gonna remind you. I'm gonna remind we of
And
the reality.
the reality is that in the beginning we do things for making sure that we have it, but as we mature in it, those actions can change where we don't have to do what we did in our babyhood. We can be like, I've grown enough to know what gift you gave me. I'm gonna, every time I see you, I'm gonna re-up it in my own mind because I'm more mature in this idea now. I am Lakesh. I am truth. I used to be trying to get to you or me, and I'm there. So I will just be that, and you can be too. and I've got enough for you. I've got enough for everybody else.
Pockets full.
Yeah.
You got a backpack.
So we're encouraging you to use the language of Invocation Veritas with the clarity of what it means and what the responsibility that comes with that is that it requires you to think the truth of that all the time, be the truth all the time. So that's
certainly. All right, so it looks like one or two comments came in. We'll check it out. I don't know if they're questions per se, but just statements. But before we do, Inlakesh and Veritas 2, Steph of the Sun, Inlakesh Studio 1, Stacy OTS, Liliana V, Lauren Cornelius, Serenia MacArthur, Delilah Burrows in the house, Julianne Reynolds in the house, Inlakesh, and any of those who are not in the chat making yourself known, we welcome you. So there's two comments here, and it looks like you all are just full. You know, you probably are stuffed from the knowledge of the tenets, and like, I can't even get anything out, and that's okay. Sometimes it's like that. So Stacey OTS says, I recently had an experience. I had to set boundaries and protect my field from familial drama. I know they bet on my past niceness, but I saw the pattern and decided to do something differently. That's what it's about. Do something different, not the same. And then we have Julianne Reynolds. The sense of belonging to keep the peace can silence the current of one's boundaries. I got this from my ancestral women. That's right. Silence is consent. You silent, you just taking the abuse. You are consenting. You do nothing, you get to have that.
And we know enough about what the women historically in all of our families, what their lives were like, to know that, do we want to do that or don't we? We have enough evidence.
Yeah, it's very clear.
We got plenty of evidence to how that worked out for them. So
certainly. So, well, some last announcements for you all. Again, more people are rolling in. So, tonight, energetic protection and defense. Protect the field. We're going into it. It's a 3-day class. Link is in the description if you want to sign up. It is no prerequisites. This is an entry-level class to equip you with not only techniques, but to move beyond theory, to have the understanding and shift your perception of who you are. We are in the process of reshaping identity.
absolutely.
Because it is necessary. Earth is changing. We are Earth. We are changing. Get on board. Evolution will not wait.
If ever there was a time when you needed a new identity, this is it, because the earth is shifting,
That's right.
the world is changing. This is the moment where a new identity will come in handy.
I just saw a visual of somebody like, who's gonna fight for me? You better pick up your sword and fight for you.
That's the new
Internally.
identity.
Internally.
The
And-
new identity is knowing that it's all about you.
Yeah, that's right. And then also, if you're looking for community and you're really resonating with Of the Sun here, and you're like, man, I like what you all do, and I want to be part of it and engage at a deeper level, join Light Body Movement. Light Body Movement is every first, second, third, and fourth Sunday. An hour and a half, Lalita and myself are teaching, and we are going over the core understandings of the light body. And actually, this is beyond core. We're expanding deep into these understandings. We're beyond practicality and carrying it into embodiment. But then we also have activations. We have textbook knowledge information. And then I think one of the most valuable aspects of this is that you are in the field of people who are coherently moving as one
Absolutely.
to amplify the light. We recognize at varying levels and degrees that, okay, I'm light, I need to ignite this, and there is power in that. And then you also get the opportunity to ask questions, bring things to the forefront. We do open the lines. So it's much more interactive than what we can do here on the live stream. So if you're looking to participate and go into a little deeper level with us, there's a link in the description. And be sure to continue to join our free things. We have free live streams throughout the week, meditations, talks like this every Thursday, as well as the card pulls, other conversations, and stay in tune for more of the classes throughout the month of the year. Sun calibrations coming up. You're about to teach people again how to gain yes and no information, especially in the age of AI. If you got to learn to speak to your guide and speak to your body. There's a lot of lies out there. The truth resides within you. Lao-Tzu will show you how to tap into that truth. This is one of the things that I made a little video, and I actually saw this in a clip that I was editing. I was expressing my gratitude. And I'm like, dang, Lao-Tzu, you have all these years always brought us back to self. You have always, even when you've taught us how to get information, and we go to Lao-Tzu, I'm dealing with so and so, and then you go, did you check your guidance? Did you ask your? He's like, oh, okay. But putting us back in the position of sovereignty, where it doesn't hurt to have a second opinion, but it is important. It's imperative that we learn how to operate this way because the world needs new leaders.
Yes.
And it starts with you learning to lead yourself through your connection with your guidance and your divine intelligence within. So that's coming up in August. Energy Hygiene 101 is coming up in August to teach you a basic core lifestyle of working with the other sun practices. So again, we have a lot of things going on, regularly. So be sure to check out the website. And you have any final thoughts or comments before we head out?
And we have achieved certain levels of victory. We invite you to come and enjoy your victories with us. Thank you so
I'll drink
much.
to that.
Look at your Veritas, everyone.